Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Revolution Cast, brought to you by Tiger Prince Entertainment. I'm your host, Hank Davis, and joining me on the line, he's my co-host, Alex Cruz. How are you, Alex?
Oh, better than I deserve.
Better than you deserve, really. Yeah, somebody's been up to some mischief, maybe. I love it.
I guess you could say that from the weekend, but I don't know if I should get into that.
If it sounds kind of like the plot to The Hangover, maybe not. Maybe not.
It is, but there was no hangover.
Oh. Awesome.
Totally sober throughout the whole thing.
Oh, that makes it even worse. That makes it. Oh, man. So, Alex, right off the top, I do have a little bit of laundry to take care of.
Okay.
So, folks, if you've been with us for any amount of time and you've been getting the shows from TigerPrinceRadio.com or TigerPrince.com or all the variations of the site we have, we're going through some rebranding in about 2 weeks. So the bad news is we won't be hosting some of the really, really old shows anymore. We won't be hosting those on the site anymore. All the new stuff is hosted on Libsyn, so it's good to go. But if there's any other shows, people email me all the time saying that they still listen to the Unit Radio Recap. They still listen to Terminator Radio.
Wow.
I mean, that show, we haven't done that show in like 4 years.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years easily. And V and stuff like that. So the shows that we did before Libsyn are going to be no longer available. So you have a couple of weeks to download them. I give you my permission to download them to your computer and save them forever if you want to.
So make sure you save those old episodes of Cruise on Comics. Those are collector's items right now.
They're trading fast on eBay. So it's going to be, the good news, though, it's going to be awesome for telling someone where to go to the site. So when you say Tiger Prince Radio, is it Prints? Is it Princ? You know what I mean? You get all this confusion.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a short, simple URL. And if you're subscribed to us in iTunes or Zune or wherever, don't worry. I'm just going to forward those feeds to the new feed, and it will be seamless. You won't even notice anything.
That's good for them because they won't even notice anything. That's nice and painless.
Yes. So you don't have to get your wisdom teeth pulled out.
All right.
But I just wanted to give people a heads up so nobody emails me and says, dude, what happened to... I got to...
We'll say, we're sorry, Jeff.
One of our oldest listeners, Jeff.
Oh, Gibby.
Oh, Gibby. No, I'm just kidding. So that's it with the laundry. Alex, you had some news, some exciting news about Revolution.
I had some exciting news. If you are a huge fan of Revolution, you are going to be pleasantly surprised to hear that NBC has indeed ordered a full season of Revolution.
So my early prediction did not come true.
Yeah, so far we're not going to have the Hank Davis curse and going mid-season, so it's going to go the full season. So
nice.
I don't know what institutes a full season anymore
with these 10 show series that we follow.
Right, because a huge fan of Walking Dead, which premieres next week. That season, it started out as a 6-episode season.
What?
And then that's what it started out as. What was the first season? 6 episodes or something like that. And then it went up to I think 12 episodes. And so I still have yet to see how many episodes this season is. And for those of you who just been following Hank and I on Fallen Skies, that's a 10-episode season.
Yeah, it's pretty short,
Yeah, so
you're just getting into your groove around episode 7, 6, 7, and then it's over.
Right. So I think what's going to happen with Revolution, though, it being NBC. It should go. I know we're gonna have some breaks here and there, but it should go to March or April, depending on when the season finale is, and depending on whether what the ratings are at the time as well.
Yes, and speaking of ratings, do you have any good news for us?
Well, unfortunately, I don't, because as I predicted earlier, the ratings are going to keep steadily dropping, and that's indeed what we had. We had 8.32 million viewers, which is
That's
slightly down from last week.
oh,
And so, if we remember from last week, boys and girls, we had we started at. Oh, someone is upset right now that the ratings were kind of lower. Sorry. Oh, stupid sheep. Okay. So the ratings last week were 9.21 million.
ooh.
And then the pilot episode was 11.65 million.
Casey, could I please request? Now I'm free falling. No, it's kind of going down.
So that's and you know what? If right now I'm looking at a website that has 7 episodes, and these 7 episodes are going to go up until November the 5th, and it appears we're going to have kind of like a bye week, which something else is going to be on after the 15th. See, someone is kind of excited about that.
Awesome.
So, if I could digress just momentarily, I don't know if anybody has checked up on YouTube, but look up Screamin' Sheep, and it is the funniest damn thing you'd ever seen.
Nice.
And so I loved it so much. Of course, everyone's hearing it in the background, and that's my dial tone and my text tone and all that stuff. So
Amazing.
Amazing. It looked like my father just called me, so I am going to contact him later.
Screaming sheep.
But the whole audience got to enjoy the joy of the Screaming Sheep. So go ahead and look up YouTube Screaming Sheep.
Amazing, Alex.
But anyway, going back to the ratings, we're steadily dropping. And it has to level off sometime.
Yeah. So does a balding man's hairline.
So I guess we'll have to wait till next week to see if we kind of leveled off, because it kind of happened to some of the other shows we were watching. I know when we were doing when we're doing Fallen Skies, it's like been steadily dropping, and then it kind of plateaued. And so I'm kind of hoping that this is going to happen to Revolution, or if not, we won't be seeing a season 2 of Revolution.
You ain't kidding. Remember when V started off so strong?
Yeah.
That first episode was just huge, and then the next episodes were like nothing.
And I think the sad thing going on right now, I'm looking, and the major networks, we had the NBC did not have the worst. The worst was Hawaii Five-0 with 7.95, but Castle won that time slot for the major networks with 10.35.
You know, here's one thing that I want to put out there. At the time slot that Revolution is on, you're going to miss a lot of guys at that time. Because Monday Night Football, professional wrestling, you know, those are, whether you like them or not, those are some heavy-duty shows that are on.
And I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't watch Revolution when it's during its time slot. I watch it on demand the next day because of that. Now, Monday Night Football did a killing. They had over 11 million viewers.
Ouch.
And
smoked us.
Which is better than what ABC's Castle, which was 10.35 million viewers. And to this day, I still don't understand why ABC is not having Monday Night Football. I know it's ESPN is owned by ABC, which
Disney, all that
they're
stuff.
all Disney and all that stuff. But to me, it makes perfectly good sense to just move them back to ABC. But
I'm with you. You know me more than anybody. I'm right
oh
with you. Alex, shall we get into our feedback
yeah,
from last week? We have feedback from last week, and then we have feedback from this week. So we'll save the feedback from this week to the end of the show. But the last week stuff we got to play now.
stay tuned.
Shall we do this?
Let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to mute myself because Wayne cracks me up in this feedback. This is Wayne Henderson from MediaVoiceovers.com and PackersFanPodcast.com. Two excellent sites to go visit. There's the hint. Go visit them. All right, here's Wayne.
Hey, Hank and Alex. This is Wayne Henderson from the Packers Fan Podcast and Fringe Podcast. Calling in for Revolution Cast. Just finished listening to the latest episode of your Revolution Cast, and I really enjoyed it. I like the camaraderie you have, and I like the fact that you remember that we're talking about entertainment. This is a television show. It's entertainment, and you have an entertaining way of presenting the show. So I just want to give you props on that. And I wanted to, like how you threw in the whole Twilight thing as well. Funny stuff. I agree with you. The writers. I hope they're listening to the Revolution Cast, doing some research. And I know that even though they've already got probably 3 or 4 more episodes of Revolution filmed, it's not too late, hopefully, to change things. Change the writing. Get away from all the young love. This is the exact thing that killed Terra Nova and V. Both good science fiction shows that could have delved a lot more into the technology, into the conspiracy theories, but instead they focused so many episodes on young love and the teenagers and folks in their young 20s and their romance. And focus on the science and some of that a little more, okay? Because we need to know before it's too late. We need more background information on who caused the power blackout, why they did it, what are all the electrical engineers in the world doing to try to turn this around, and do all of these huge solar farms that I guess Apple, that they're building, is that what's going to power the world when it comes back? What is going on? We need some answers, and I get the answers that I need from the Revolution Cast. And if you put some more answers in the show, I'm sure that Hank and Alex will pass them on to all of us. Thanks, guys. I'm going to let you back to your show now. This is Wayne. We'll talk to you soon. Keep up the good work.
Awesome, Wayne. Awesome feedback. Alex, what are your thoughts on focusing too much on the young love stories?
Well, as we're going to find out in this week's episode, they steered away from it, I thought. And we didn't see the young love in this current episode.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess that's why, and folks, I'm going to say this ahead of time before. I did like this episode a lot better than the previous episode.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that, and we'll get into our specific ratings a little later. But, yeah, we can both agree. I mean, we talked about it off air that, both of us enjoyed the episode a lot more. A lot more positive than negative this time.
Yeah, it still had a couple, I thought, silly moments and some predictable moments. But other than that, I thought it was a much better episode.
I couldn't agree more. Now, let's get to our other feedback that we had from last week. And this one is from Les. Les writes, did you guys notice that Randall had another one of those necklaces around his neck when he confronted Grace? How many of these things are there? I didn't see it last week. I'll be honest with you. I didn't. I seen it this week when they flashed back to last week. I noticed it.
I noticed it when Randall, quote unquote, if that's his real name.
Yeah.
Had excuse me. I noticed Randall had one of those, so I know he has something to do with what's going on.
He has superhero powers. No, I'm just kidding. He has evidently has a cattle prod, and that still works just fine. So that was pretty good. And I'm curious, how many of those things are there? And then do you need a bunch of them? Do you have to round up all of them to turn the power back on?
It's magic.
Does it go into some device that says, okay, now we let the power back on? That's what I'm curious. So I can't wait to find out. Alex, are you ready to get into this week's episode review?
Yeah, let's dig into it, because I'm sure everyone's kind of itching to see what we have to say about this.
So this one was titled No Quarter. This week's episode starts out with Miles, Nora, and Charlie walking down the road discussing the rebels. Then it's a flashback to Miles and Sebastian on the base while Miles is talking about going AWOL. And I was like, oh, buddy. So maybe they are going to tell us a little bit of this backstory, but always through these flashbacks.
I thought this episode we saw a lot of huge revelations all through these flashbacks.
Yes, we did.
And I agree with you. I think the rest of the show is going to be similar to that.
And I thought we were going to see, I was hoping instead of doing the 15 years, they could have said, here's 15 years later, this is what it looks like. And then I like seeing like the meat and potatoes,
Mm-hmm.
What was year 1 like? What was year 5 like? Stuff like that. But they're just going to flash us back.
And what's utterly amazing about these flashbacks, and I'll say it again, isn't it nice how these people haven't aged hardly a day?
Still looking dapper.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Amazing.
If we saw a picture of Alex Cruz from 15 years ago and now, there's a major difference. I'd like to know what type of diet these guys are on, what plastic surgeon they're seeing.
It's big business with no power. Once to the rebel base, the group gets surrounded until a guy named Nicholas recognizes Nora. And then Miles lies to Nicholas about him and Charlie's names. So he's like, hey, my name is such and such, and her name is such and such. And he's just lying. But he seems to be accustomed to doing things the covert way, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he's had some good training, and we're going to find out exactly. Well, we know he got his training from the military.
Literally.
Yep.
And then what did you think about Nicholas and Nora? As soon as they kind of locked eyes on each other, didn't it seem like something fishy was going on?
Well, you kind of thought something was going on, like some type of this mushy love crap that we talked about earlier.
That's exactly what I thought. I thought, okay, he's the third wheel now, so now this is going to be the conflict, That's what I was thinking in my head. I was like, oh, no, please don't do this. All right. So the rebels are wounded, and they're just laying around that room like death on a stick, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
They look pretty bad. And then Charlie seemed to be pretty affected by a guy who was dying, and he was trying to mutter something to her. And what do you think he was trying to say, Alex?
I think he was trying to say, this show needs better writers.
Oh, my goodness. That's amazing. That's amazing. I think he was saying, this is what I think he was saying. Are the Bears winning? Because they're in Chicago. It's a Chicago reference, people. We know you listen to the Packers fan podcast. All right, so that guy is just an afterthought because he doesn't make it. So one of my favorite actors on television, Mark Pellegrino. He is playing the character of Jeremy. Now, those of you who watch Supernatural know he played the devil. Those of you who watch Lost know he played Jacob. He's awesome. He is an awesome actor. So he's Jeremy in this show, and he's interrogating a rebel soldier. And I was thinking to myself, oh, here's Eric Kripke and a supernatural connection right here. So he's got a gun, and he's like, I just got what did he say, a bullet or 2 bullets in it? And
I thought this was pretty cool.
it was excellent.
The psychological crap he was doing to this poor guy was just unbelievable. And he says, yeah, I think I might have 1 bullet in here that works. I'm not sure which one it is. And he's just playing with the weapon and stuff. And I thought it was brilliant.
But my thing is, he's going to off you regardless. You have to have a pretty good idea. I mean, for goodness sakes.
And then I enjoyed the screaming of the rebel every time he tried to fire and it would click.
It was probably the best acting we've seen on this show, right?
And Jeremy got the biggest kick out of that.
He loved it. So I was on the couch. I know this is supposed to be serious and all this stuff, but it's a TV show, for goodness sakes, people. And I was just cracking up laughing because it was humorous to me. How well he plays a bad character is just amazing to me. And the guy gives up the information and then still gets killed anyway. Who didn't see that coming?
Yeah, that was predictable.
Here's the next scene that I just absolutely love. When we're taking to Danny and he's having a tough time with that militia guard. that guy is like, you killed my best friend, right? you know he was my best friend. You know he had a family and all this stuff. I was like, man, it was kind of humorous to me that he was just messing with him.
You know what? If this idiot had any sense of logic, what do you do when someone kills your father? Your first instinct is to shoot him, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, I mean, we know.
So why get on his case for doing something that any family member would have done?
It was a humorous exchange, however.
You know what? If I were Danny, this is what I would have done. I would have looked at him and said, "You're next."
Nice, Clint Eastwood. Miles seems a little jealous of Nicholas, and then we see the love story portion of the show kind of showing through there, which I was like, please don't go down this road. Please, I don't need this. And Charlie sides with Nora when it comes to helping out the rebels, because Miles is ready to go. He's got this Nicholas guy to contend with, plus he thinks they're a sitting duck. Well, he knows they're a sitting duck at this place. And
right. It kind of, if we can back up a little bit, these rebels were what they found out they were, like we said, they were ambushed. And as they go in, all you see is a bunch of injured people.
Yeah, they were messed up.
And they were messed up. So they weren't really, I don't know. I guess they were surprised. And to me, I guess every single one of them should have had red shirts on.
Exactly. But Charlie's kind of got to make up her mind. Are you going to, you asked this guy for his help. You're the one that tracked him down, right?
Right.
So why are you at every turn, you're like, no, let's not do this. No, let's not. There's an ethical way to do that. You're in a ruined world, so to speak. And you're going to have to make some concessions. And I don't think they're doing a good job of that character being realistic, unless they're trying to show us that, okay, she's never been anywhere, she doesn't know how it is or something like that. But
right.
other than that, she is annoying me because I'm like, Miles is right. You got to get out of there, fool.
Well, to me, what she kind of personifies is that old television character from about 20 to 30 years ago where they did nothing but the right thing. And so that's what she's trying to do right now. She's trying to do the right thing and be kind of like the big heroine. And in order to be the good, quote unquote, good guy, she needs to go down this goody path that she's going down right now.
Yeah, with 3 bodies under her belt.
Yeah.
3 kills. Aaron and Maggie are at Grace's place when Maggie figures out something's not right with the place. Could it be that the door has been kicked off the freaking hinges pretty much, Could that be the part that clued you into something's wrong here? When the door, you knock on it, it just kind of starts swinging open. I was like, okay, let's buy a vowel. And
yeah,
then,
I was waiting for my buddy Randall, but
you know what? I was pretty sure that they were gone. I was pretty sure that it was vacant. But how easy did they find this place? It was pretty easy. I think it was pretty easy,
Yeah, I mean, Danny found it pretty easily.
Yeah, he did. Conveniently, too. Oh, there just happens to be somebody in this house.
And, yeah, so Aaron, he kind of found it conveniently. And
yeah, it's pretty easy to place to find. So why wouldn't Randall find this place? But I thought that
know.
if any of you guys listening ever do a TV show, please make some stuff in the show that is realistic to me. Have the characters get lost. Have them get lost for an episode, and then they get into trouble while they're lost somewhere else. You know what I mean? Something else happens.
For instance, if you're Aaron and you're in the company of some hot British chick or some hot older British chick, and what does he just talks to her? Something's wrong with that for me.
I almost gave it to you, but I there you go.
You see, and they're a little outside of Chicago, and my old Uncle Hef is from Chicago, and so that's not. See, he would have thought like I did.
Nice. So. Nice. All right, now Aaron geeks out when he finds out there's a computer in Grace's upstairs. So he's like, "Oh, this is a computer. It's a real live computer. Yay!" And
Commodore 64.
Yeah, so he's led to believe that she would have had to have power to, obviously to use it. Duh. Charlie and Nora are patching up troops while Miles is throwing around barbs at Nicholas. So he has got some good jokes up until the bullets start flying. So,
is this now? I don't think we revealed yet what Nick's true vocation is.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Or no, I don't know if we're gonna. We can say it now. Just say it now. It's fine.
Well, we find out that Nick is a Catholic priest.
Yeah.
And so then immediately, I think his the ego is kind of softened a little bit into which, oh, okay, these two have nothing going on.
Exactly. Because didn't he make some kind of joke about it or something?
Yeah.
He made some kind of...
Yeah. He made some type of a reference to... I think Altar Boy.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, it is after 10 p.m., I guess. Maybe you can get away with this stuff. But I was like, whoa. But right then, that's when the militia shows up and bullets start flying. So the guy Charlie patched up is shot in the abdomen, and he's dead. So all that patchwork for nothing. And so the rebels get that sniper rifle, and they send a guy up to the roof. Miles is like, who's your best shot? And it's some, I don't know, some guy, some random dude. And so they send him up to the roof to start buying them some time and picking people off. And he was thumping the militia troops. And Jeremy's plan, was that not the funniest plan you've ever heard in your life? Just keep sending guys across so he'll run out of bullets sometime. Let's try to expedite him running out of bullets.
Now, this is the part in which I had the biggest problem with. I know I talked to you earlier about this.
Yes.
And right when they first attack, Jeremy, he's kind of out in the open. And as we know, the grunts are kind of dressed differently than the commanding officer. So, wouldn't it make perfectly good sense to immediately eliminate the commanding officer? Cut off its head, it won't be able to think.
Yeah, exactly. And he was the one yelling.
He was yelling, he was out in the open. So tactically, that's the first target you go after. So if we have a stupid Mike award for this, that goes to this guy. So I'm sorry. So for those of you who haven't listened to our Falling Skies podcast, there was a character in the first season called Mike, and he would do the dumbest things every single episode. So we had a stupid Mike award every show, and so I guess I'm I'm kind of bringing it over with us to this show.
And we used to play a little tune that sounded a little bit like this. For the stupidity that is abounding in this episode, the Stupid Mike Memorial Award goes to the sniper on the roof. Sniper on the roof.
And so, but I did like the strategy later on. He kept on sending guys over and over. And he goes, yeah, he'll run out of ammo.
But how cruel is that? How cruel are you to just be like, oh, yeah, you're going to die, and the next 50 of you might die, but...
Well, it's funny because his messenger, as he's telling the message, he goes to take off, and bam!
And he's like, oh, great.
Oh, great. Now I got to go deliver the message.
So that was awesome, man.
I did like that. That was awesome. But what that sniper not taking him out to begin with, I'm just shook my head. But
pretty stupid. Yeah.
I guess I would have thought differently.
Charlie and Nora have a girl power moment.
Yay, girl power.
Because Nora's telling this story about how she got dumped by this guy that she had to bail out of a fight with some guys from the militia. And that part of it, I don't know how, maybe it was because I'm a former pro boxer that I have a hard time looking at like a little tiny model knocking people out, but...
I'm gonna knock you out.
I'm just like, really? Did you really jump in there and really win this fight against two dudes? Okay. Sometimes I have a little hard time believing that, but I'll digress. It's kind of a galvanizing moment for them two girls, I think.
Yeah, it's like you said earlier, woman power. All right.
What next? So back to Danny and the guard who wants to kill him for killing his best friend. I think he said his name was Templeton, his best friend's name. His name was Templeton. He had a wife. She was big, but he loved her. I was like, what is that?
See, okay, now, all right. I love this part because it gave you more detail, even though it was not necessarily useful detail. I thought this detail was hilarious.
This was very fun. And so the guy has a sack party on Danny's ribs. He's got a sack full of something, and he is going to town on him, just smoking him with that bag. Oh, man, I'm sorry. That stuff's funny. That was comedy right there. So I was on the couch rolling. I don't think I've ever seen a one-man sack party before. Oh, usually a group of guys will do that to somebody.
It kind of reminded me of that scene from Full Metal Jacket.
Exactly. That's why you needed
more guards. Wailing on Private Pile with
bars of soap.
The towel and the bar of soap.
You need more guys for this. That would have been so much. Oh, my goodness. And then the captain could have came over. He could have been like, what are you guys doing? They would have been like, just having sack races. Don't worry about it. Charlie calls her dad a coward when Miles snaps on her. And I was like, oh, crapola. But, oops, I skipped one thing. Before that, we got taken back to Miles and Sebastian flashback where they stumble across a dead family. Now, I didn't know what to think of that right when I saw that scene. I thought it was going to be like maybe something pertinent right in that initial scene. I was trying to look at the bodies and stuff, but I couldn't see anything. So
I was expecting some walkers to come on by.
No. No.
That's what I was waiting for.
No.
I was disappointed.
You were disappointed that they don't have that kind of budget on this show. But I thought it was going to be relevant right then, but it wasn't. It's more relevant in the one we're going to get to in just a little bit.
Yeah.
So after that, then it's when Charlie calls her dad. He was a coward. He let the militia come in and take their crops. And Miles was very upset about that,
Oh, he defended his brother like, don't you dare say that about my brother.
Don't you ever call
Yeah.
your dad a coward again. I was like, okay. So that was pretty interesting scene right there.
It was almost like that scene in Elf in which he was telling the little guy author telling him to call me a dwarf again. Oh, he's an angry dwarf, or angry elf. And so I was waiting for him to just put the smack down on her. But there's a kind of respect there.
Yes. Nora and Miles have to fight the militia because they're starting to come through the doors and stuff, and they happen to capture Mr. Jeremy, and Jeremy recognizes Miles, and then we get the bombshell that Miles was the commanding general of the Monroe militia. And so this doesn't win him any fans with these rebels because they're like, oh, man. So everybody's mad at him at this point.
Right. So basically they got the second in command of the militia with them.
Yeah.
At least that's what they think.
That's what they think. I mean, that's the story right there. So Miles says that the militia is ruthless because of him. Now, here's my only... Well, one of my only major gripes of this episode is when we go back to Aaron and he's not having any luck with the computer. It sets off a whole sequence of events that I'm like, okay.
Now, I thought this was kind of an interesting scene, though.
Yeah, the second part of this is very interesting, but the first part of this was not. So when they're at Grace's place, they've got this place lit up like a Christmas tree with candles. Did you notice that?
You know, I didn't really notice it, no.
Because I was happened to just be, really dialed into the surroundings in the room for some reason. They had candles covering everywhere. And I was thinking to myself, like...
How did that house didn't burn down?
Well, not just that, but how come nobody from the militia or Randall or somebody, nobody sees these lights up in this upstairs windows and stuff? I mean, if ever anything said, hey, come and kill us, it was this scene right here. Because, Aaron's like, I'll take my chances staying the night here, Let's just take our chances. And I'm like, you really don't have any good weapons, and then you're going to light candles and have them in the windowsill and stuff? I thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I'll digress. I'll get off my soapbox now. And this is where Miles tells Jeremy that he'll turn himself in if they'll let the rebels go. And I was thinking, isn't this, won't they just say, yeah, okay, I'll do this, and then turn around and kill all the rebels anyway? Wouldn't they just...
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I kind of expected to happen, too. I kind of expect him to agree, but knowing that he'll probably go back on his word.
Yeah. And then Nicholas... he's just going on and on about stuff. And I was thinking, aren't you supposed to be a priest? Aren't you supposed to be forgiving people? Aren't you supposed to be a little more level-headed than the rest of us?
Right. And Charlie's kind of getting on his case, too.
Yeah, and he was just like ruthless.
And to me, I see being a Catholic and knowing the priests as well as I do in my religious community, I didn't find him to be very believable as a priest.
No, not at all.
And you know what? Just judging from his character, he's definitely not a practicing priest because he doesn't even wear the Roman collar.
What a bad priest.
Yep. So now, I guess now the altar boy jokes can start
commence.
flying.
Okay. Stay tuned after the show, folks. All right, Danny has an asthma attack, except for he's not really having one, and he chokes the crap out of that militia guard. That was epic.
I love this scene. I love this scene too.
I love
just
this.
Choked the crap out of him, and then he let him go. And it's funny because the captain was just getting back from where he came from, and he kind of got the tail end of this, and you could tell I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything about this.
I thought it was great playing games with him, but this could come back to backfire on him playing that asthma game like that.
Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of sensing between the captain and Danny, there's a relationship building.
Yeah, I agree.
And so one of two things I think are going to happen, and they're both on the opposite sides of the extreme, I guess we could say. On one side, I think we may possibly see Danny and the captain becoming friends, and maybe Danny joining the militia.
Oh,
but I'm thinking about that now. Why would you join a group that killed your dad?
Yeah, this is true.
Or maybe the captain will grow to respect Danny so much that maybe, hey, the captain's going to be part of this underground.
That'd be cool too. I like the dynamic there. And you're right, they're building.
I kind of like the captain because this is wit and banter is kind of funny.
Yeah, and one of the few people on the show that can act. All right. Jeremy wants to know if Miles has information about how to turn the power back on. The way he presented it was so awesome. Well, Sebastian thinks that you know something about it. Well, do you? You know, the way his method is excellent. So just then, Charlie and Nora blow the militia up and get Miles back.
It's a trap.
and here's another part where it falls flat dead down for me. Crack shot Charlie shoots a crossbow. It had to be 50, 75 yards into a backpack. I don't know if any of you guys are deer hunters out there, but I am, and Mellow Betts is as well. I don't know if you've ever shot a crossbow, but if you can hit a backpack, if I can set one at 25, 30 yards and you can smack that sucker at will, you're a pretty good shot. And
yeah, that's a piece of cake, though. Come on, this is Beeland.
She's like
you know
a
what?
football
I
field
thought
away.
the same thing, but I thought, I'm going to let that go this week because
You were feeling good, weren't you?
I was feeling pretty good about this episode. And I thought, you know what? How many shots would it take to get a shot like that? I'd say three to the most for an expert shot.
Definitely.
But she did it on the first shot, so
yeah,
good for her.
She's got no scope or anything. You know what I mean? She's just like point, shoot, got it. Thank you. Girl,
Yeah.
She should have just went girl power. No.
And then that little bag blows up the whole bridge.
Now we are taken back to that flashback that we talked about a little earlier. And it said 6 months after the blackout on the screen. So Miles stops a couple of crazy men from beating down another guy. And then Miles asks the guys if they killed that couple in the tent. And
yeah, Miles pulls his weapon out on him.
And it looked like Sebastian was like, come on, let's just go. Let's just get out of here or whatever. And Miles was like, I'm not, he just, like, nobody's going to do anything. There's no police. There's nobody to call. He just flips out a little bit and he shoots him dead.
And you know what? I think at first this is why we had the militia, because of things like this. This is we're seeing the beginnings of the militia right here.
Which that would make sense if you went into it with that mentality of let's be peacekeepers. But then it doesn't end up that way.
No, it turns it definitely goes south. But I think this was the original intent, though, of the militia. They started out as a kind of something righteous, and then all of a sudden it turned evil rather quickly.
Very much so. And This was excellent because when I first saw the scene, I didn't notice. I noticed just the big guy. I didn't notice the other dark-haired guy. So I thought he was beating up the dark-haired guy at first. So I rewound it and watched it again. Okay. And then I was like, oh, okay, there's a third guy. And it's a blonde-haired guy.
And this, I nailed this one on the head.
You knew this one beforehand?
I did, because it was predictable. To me, it was predictable enough that I knew who that third guy on the ground was.
This was like a Lost flashback where all the characters are somebody you need to know,
Yeah.
And somebody relevant. So guess who they save? It was Jeremy.
It was Jeremy. See, I knew exactly who that was.
I did not. That's awesome.
So I nailed that one.
Good
and
man.
So now I'm thinking, well, basically Jeremy owes his life
to Miles.
To Miles, big time.
Yeah. So how, when is this gonna come back? I want to know. But Charlie gives Miles the old, there's a part of you that has compassion still speech or whatever. And I was like, oh, goodness, please. Enough with the, what is that, the superhero creed, There's a part of you that's still good. They give the bad guy 4,000 chances. So.
Yep, the Darth Vader scenario. They're still good in you, Father.
Someday you're going to throw that Emperor down.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back to, and this is the main part of the show, when Aaron and Maggie are talking, and Aaron's discussing his bullying stories. I was bullied as a kid on the playground, and then when the power went out, it turned back into a playground again. I was dying laughing, man. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Which to me explains why he never made the move on Maggie after all. So I think that whole scenario which I first mentioned the scenario was totally redeemed by that comment.
Oh my goodness! I was
like,
a jock
you're one of them.
I was a jock in school, so there was no getting stuffed into lockers. I might have been stuffing people into lockers. There was no me getting stuffed into a locker. Sorry, it just didn't happen. So just then, the necklace powers on and a CD player comes on. A CD player that just happens to be in the vicinity.
Yeah, and good old Marvin Gaye is on, which was pretty cool.
Well, which song? No, I'm just kidding. I won't go that path with this comment. But of course, Maggie powers on her iPhone. And there's that solar power that Wayne was alluding to earlier with the iPhone. But then the necklace powers down and it stops again. So let's put our theories out on the table. Number one, first hole. These things have been off for 15 years. Would the batteries even make it possible to turn them on?
Okay, I don't know if any of you have an iPhone, but an iPhone does not just instantly go on like that. It takes at least a good 30 to 45 seconds for it to...
And then wouldn't it say something like, it's searching for towers? No, I'm just kidding. Siri, find me the quickest way to get back to... maybe that would have worked. But wouldn't the batteries be just leaking acid out of them? Or whatever.
I don't know if it would do that, but the chance of them working would probably pretty much be very, very low.
So if I have this necklace and I set it next to something that needs power, whether there's a power source hooked to it or not, it's just going to come on?
Well, on one hand, let's say you have a bad battery on an iPod or an iPhone. If it's directly plugged into a power source, it will work. But when you detach it from the power source, then it won't continue to work. So maybe this thing acts like that,
Could it be some wireless energy source? Could this be Nikola Tesla? some some kind of, cordless energy supply that they have access to now or something that they don't know?
Well, it very well could be. That's what I'm kind of thinking.
It has to be. And it just somehow intelligently powers anything in the room or anything in its close proximity that needs, that would work on regular power normally. I don't know, but I'm going to still play this.
It's an interesting theory.
Thank you. All right. All right. So next week's episode is titled Plague Dogs. Charlie and Nora rescue Miles from the militia before they set off to reunite with Aaron and Maggie. Meanwhile, Nate shadows Charlie and Miles. Now, this is what I was talking about, Alex. I specifically read this little look ahead off of Comcast because doesn't that make it seem like they are pushing the beginning of other episodes into the end of the current episode? That's what I accused them of right off at the start.
Okay.
And this makes me think that because Charlie and Nora rescue Miles from the militia. Right. They did that in this episode. So why would they say that in this next week's? Why would that be the synopsis for the episode?
Yeah, it does. You're right. It does give away kind of the ending of the previous episode.
Yeah, I'm right. I like hearing that. But it's just it's just my opinion that it doesn't make any sense based on this. This is something that the network would have had to send in to whoever does the guide programming or whatever. And it makes it seem to me that they are pulling stuff like, man, we can't leave them hanging a week. They'll stop watching.
And you know what? That's what I was thinking too. They're just kind of scared right now because they don't know what the ratings are going to be at, and they're not so sure if they're going to be around the following week.
Well, I think the bad thing is they do know what the ratings are.
Yeah.
They do know where they're headed, and they're just trying to get us, which I'm happy with this episode. So it's ratings time. It's ratings time, Alex. What are you giving this episode?
I am going to give this one an 8 out of 10.
I couldn't agree more. 8 out of 10 as well.
And this is what I liked about it. We didn't I don't think we saw Nate at all. And if we did, it was maybe near the end. He was kind of following them, but he wasn't involved at all, which I like because I don't like that sappy crap.
I just happen to be a well-groomed, well-built young character.
Yeah.
Targeting the demographic we're trying to get.
And then next week, the Fellowship will be reunited once more. So that should be interesting.
Nice. Can we get to our feedback, the other 2 emails that we received?
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Hey, guys. Love the podcast. I especially like that you are not going all fanboy over the show. To me, it's barely hitting the mediocre level so far. Question. Is Miles going to be sporting what amounts to be a 2-day beard stubble for the entire season? You'd think it would have grown out a bit since we first met him, or that he would have shaved. A constant scruff of whiskers just ain't reality. I'll keep watching for a bit more and listening to you two. John. I didn't want to say his last name because I don't know if it's cool to say your last name, John. But thank you so much, John.
You know what? Yeah, I totally agree with that.
I do too.
And I never thought about it until he brought it up, but he's absolutely right.
Me neither. And it's small nuances like that if somebody does a show, please get this kind of stuff right. I mean, wouldn't it be easy to just have the actor just be like, okay, we start the season, don't shave. Just whatever it's growing out like, that's what it's growing out like. We'll just keep going like that. And then then by the end of the season, they might have a beard or as far as they can get, and then have them get somewhere where there's a razor for them to shave, and then next season start over. I don't know.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Simple stuff. Or for goodness sakes, don't cast people, who just don't look like they are starving at all.
So, well, yeah, exactly. And John, thank you for sending us that one because hadn't really thought about that before, and thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, because like the women, they would have hair on their legs. They would have,
Yeah, and elsewhere too, but we won't go there.
He means their armpits, sir. That's what he means. All
No,
right.
I'm talking facial hair.
Oh, okay, facial hair. Yeah, that's what he means. Oh, man, we're about to nuke the fridge. All right, last email this is from James in Melbourne. We love James. Hey, Hank and Alex, thanks for the podcast. It's the main reason I watch the show. Anyway, is the show that desperate it's referencing Stephen King films? Charlie still needs some acting lessons. Some of the lines she delivers are terrible. The director should cop some of the blame, though. He is the one that says cut and print after each shot. So speaking of terrible direction, did anyone else hear the line, "Don't ever, ever disrespect your dad"? Ouch, what a clunker of a line. Oh, dear goodness, did I just hear a Peanuts reference? That would have been outdated at the time of the blackout. I think Revolution went wrong when it focused on the current time period of the show. But what I love to see is the period shortly after the blackout, when everyone was so much younger. LOL.
Nice.
He hits it. He hits it on the nail on the head right there.
I love the sarcasm. That's awesome.
Well, we got to see the blonde girl's kids. I was half expecting her to tweet something though. Just got some power. Saw kids. Bit hungry. Pound stuck with a geek. Meh. Twitter reference. Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. So Alex James still wants us to come down to Australia and do a down under cast. I think we got to do it at some point.
I think that would be awesome.
We got to go on tour at some point. That'd be amazing.
We're going on world tour. First stop, Australia.
I love it. I tell you what, we have about, I'd say about 30 to 35% of the audience is outside the U.S.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That is awesome. But cool. Very good stuff, man. So thanks to everybody. Thanks to Wayne. Thanks to Les, John, and James for sending in feedback. So if you guys want to send in some feedback, you can do so in one of two ways. You can call the voicemail line like Wayne did. That's +1 810 309-8445. That number again is +1 810 309-8445. Regular toll charges do apply. Or you can email us at tprfans@yahoo.com. tprfans@yahoo.com. Alex, anything else before we call this show to a close?
No, but just kind of recap my thoughts. I thought it was a much better episode. It still had a couple holes, but I think I think the holes that they have is what makes our show great.
Thank you.
Because we can pick it apart like nothing.
We can have a blast making jokes.
And it's fun doing it. So.
That's my favorite part of the week, cracking jokes. Awesome. So, folks, that's going to do it for this edition of the Revolution Cast. For Alex Cruz, I'm Hank Davis. Until next time, we're signing off.
See ya.